Okay, and just like that, we should be good. Well, at least, there we go. Okay. I'm off work. I got a belly full of seafood. I have a beer. I have water. Oh, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, what's the biggest thing in the news lately? It's got to be Gina Carano. We'll hit on that tonight, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about impeachment. I really haven't been able to follow the whole impeachment thing. It all happens when I'm at work, so I just get to catch the highlights of it. But yeah, welcome everyone. Sit down, put your feet up, relax. I know I sure as hell am. We'll see if I can do an hour. I got a new position at work, or I transferred to a new division at work rather, and this new schedule's really kicking my ass. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna shoot for at least 45 minutes. I know. They say consistency's a big thing with these, but uh, uh, uh. Anywho, here, let's take a second and no, I'm not going to share the link around. No one ever seems to click on this thing anyway. Yeah, you get the fair few stragglers. But you know what? Let's start with impeachment, since that's going to take the least amount of time. Far as I can understand, at least I think it was yesterday they voted to at least continue the trial, and now or did the impeachment go through? I don't know. If are they on the conviction? It's been such a blur, and it's all just so stupid anyway. I mean, there's quite literally no legal standing to convict Trump on incitement. It can't happen. Like with the cases the Democrats have been making, they're not legal defenses. They're purely emotional arguments. Like, what was it? Oh, I forget the Democrat's name. Refkin was trying to quote common sense and use that as a reason to impeach Trump. Like, we need to use our common sense, but also our common sense is I'm totally paraphrasing because I caught it on the drive back from Seattle, and I was just kind of zoning out. Something like we need to use our common sense and our communal sense. Our communal sense says we need to impeach, or not, we need to convict him. It's like, what? You're not proving that Trump incited anything. You're just saying, I don't like this guy. We should charge him with a crime that we can't prove he did. Like, at that point, the allegations and the crime don't even match. So it's like, what the fuck? Oh, God. I'll get to sleep in tomorrow. Yeah, so I can touch on that for a bit, and then we'll just jump right into the whole Gina Carano thing. So for those of you who may not be aware, Gina Carano played Cara Dune on The Mandalorian. She played what's the character's name in Deadpool? Angel Dust, the super strong chick, and she was great in that role too. I didn't even realize that was her. Although I haven't seen any of the Mandalorian episodes. I've just seen plenty of clips. So, oh God. I have to time these better. Maybe move them a little earlier so I'm not so sleepy. But when you just had dinner and it's like, okay, time to like take a food nap. It's like, okay, perfect time to cover the news. But so, here, let's see if I can pull up a picture of her, because I don't know about you, I think she's a looker. Here, let's do this. Tab. Whoops. Okay, this is going to go here. Oh, fucking WebP files. What are WebP files? I can't use WebP files. Okay, yeah, okay. Screw the picture plan. You can tell I really put some thought into this. But she was fired by by Disney and taken off of future Star Wars projects because she posted what was considered to be an abhorrent tweet equating the Democrats to the Nazi Party. Now, anyone who has actually read the Instagram post knows that's not what she meant. The meat of the Instagram post was what the Nazis did with the Jews was, and I'm quoting here, or paraphrasing, but I'm trying to provide some context. Please don't get mad at me. I have no insurance. So she said something along the lines of the Nazis, you got the German people to turn on the Jews by pitting neighbor against neighbor, and that's what the Democrats have been doing. Because you've seen how street level these brawls are getting. You got people shooting at each other. You had what's his face, Michael Reinhold, stalking Republicans in the street and shooting them, or shooting one guy. You had a Trump supporter get shot by a left-leaning quote-unquote security guard. He was a DJ who claimed he was a security guard. I think he had a license, but he wasn't a properly registered security guard. At least not with the company he claimed to be with. And it's been getting so personal, where like it places where I go, sometimes I feel like I can't say anything. Now I have good company that I can share my opinions with, and if they push back on me, it's not, well, you're an evil right-winger, it's, well, have you thought about this? To which I responded, well, have you thought about that? And we end up coming to some sort of common ground, or agreeing to disagree and moving on with our lives like civilized human beings. But yeah, she was fired for pointing out that the neighbor versus neighbor thing happened in Nazi Germany, and it's happening here. It's a terrible thing. We don't want it. So I guess Disney Plus wants it, if that's abhorrent to say that politicians shouldn't pit neighbors against each other. Disney Plus says, hey, that's okay by us. Get out of here, Gina. This coming from the company who added a personal thank you in Mulan to, was it the Xinjiang province, which is where they have the Uyghur Muslim concentration camps. If that's not hypocrisy, I don't know what is. It's crazy. Like, I think I said this last week, we're rapidly approaching the realm of, if not Cyberpunk, then Shadowrun. Well, first you had Twitter banning a sitting president, and not even that. Now they're saying even if Trump gets reelected, they won't let him back on, which is shocking. Not surprising, however. Like, oh man. And now you've got Disney Plus firing an actress for her political opinions because a baying mob on Twitter disagreed with her. I think she was slated to do some other Star Wars show. It was like, is it Heroes of the New Republic? Is that what it was called? Again, I catch this all in the peripheral. Like, I've got a lot of time to kill while I'm on I-5, but I don't have a way to write any of this down, even in stop-and-go traffic, so I just make it up as I go, because I'm really good at improvisation, as you can clearly tell. I gotta get an intro for this thing. Where was I going? What was I doing? Lots of dead air. Dead air is good. Dead air is great. That's what we want. We come here for dead air. So, Toronto got canned, and as a result, not only was she fired by Disney Plus, her talent agency dropped her. And this is a chick she's not this slender supermodel, Beverly Hills actress. No, she's a former MMA fighter, and I think her record is 7-1. So she's a tough chick. Like, I'm sure when the PR rep at Disney called her to say she was being let go, she wasn't bawling and saying, "Please, no, I need this. You don't understand." She was probably like, "What the fuck? Like, why? What the hell is the matter with you?" That's the response I would expect from someone like Gina. Not that I know her personally. Her talent agency dropped her. So, in direct response to this, you have Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire. Now, Ben Shapiro is the editor-at-large. He's got his own show on the Daily Wire. It's on YouTube. You can see it. He does shows with Andrew Klavan and Michael Knowles, those two other conservative speakers that I really like. He reached out to her and said, "Hey, we'll hire you. And not only that, we will let you produce and star in your own film." Which, that's the right move. If big companies are going to come along and cancel actors and actresses for their just for their opinions, not even for something they did on the clock, that's what gets me. Is like, maybe this is just my business philosophy, but if you said something offensive on the clock, I would take umbrage with that. If you said something edgy or offensive or potentially inflammatory off the clock, where you are not a direct representative of my company, you are just, you're out being you, we might have a one-on-one of, hey, could you tone it back? But I'm not just going to can you outright. That's not me. Unless it was something like really egregious, like illegal speech, which Carano's Instagram post definitely was not. Like, if you read it, there's nothing inflammatory. She's not calling anyone to action. She's not saying we need to do this. She's not saying X, Y, or Z should be put in front of a fire squad or whatever. She just says what the Democrats are doing is bad, and we should fight. Not even fight. We should change that. In a nutshell. It's sad because Cara Dune was, as I understand, a very popular character on The Mandalorian, and now that character is not going to exist for no fault of the actress, or through no fault of the actress, I should say. I'm gonna be talking in circles again. Oh, we'll see if I can make it 45 minutes in. Usually about now is where I'm winding down to, starting to wind down so I can go to bed and get up for work tomorrow, but I don't have to do that. Just a matter of how many times do you want to hear me yawn? I guess that's the question of the evening. Every time I yawn, take a shot. No, please don't. I've got to be like the worst stand-up comedian ever. Because I've got no audience to riff on. But so what I've been hearing from a lot of commentators, a lot of pundits on the right is, we've had this culture we're going for nigh on of what, 7 years now. 2014 is probably when it started with video games, and then what's up, Beth? And then from there, it's bled over into other media. It's bled over into film. It's bled over into comic books, and it's getting into places where the average person just doesn't want it. I'm very quiet. I can try moving the microphone closer. Maybe I'm just not projecting. Does that sound better? Because I'm really trying to, not blow my mic out. Here, I'll turn the mic up a little bit. Okay, how about now? Oh, whatever. Where the hell was I? Okay. Conservative pundits saying that the right needs to start building its culture. Well, the Daily Wire is doing just that. The Daily Wire has started. They've got their own feature-length movie, Run, Hide, Fight. I am not trying to shill for the company. I'm just saying this is where it's at. This is where they're starting. And you have plenty of indie films, but the production studio being backed by Daily Wire is probably the next best competitor to whatever else is out there. I'm putting this really poorly because I know fuck all about how movies work, but what Daily Wire is doing is the first step. You've got other people who want to start making their own stuff. Tim Pool's got Timcast IRL. They have long-form conversations that are usually pretty constructive. They talk current events. They talk pop culture. They talk politics. But it's all about just people having a constructive back and forth, regardless of what they think. And it's great. I don't know what else Tim Pool's planning. Again, I keep tabs on this stuff very loosely because I've got this thing called a job, mate. It takes up a lot of time. So, yeah. As of now, we don't know what Carano's feature film's going to be, but it's good to see the conservative outlet stepping up and, having Carano's back when Hollywood is like, well, no. And the worst thing about it, well, not the worst thing, but what makes it worse is we're learning, I think as of today or as of yesterday, that Hollywood was looking for an excuse to get rid of her in the first place because she was a conservative. And that, on its face, is not correct. Like, I work with, I work in Seattle. There's, it's a very, very liberal city, and I'm a country kid. I stand out like a sore thumb. Everyone's walking around in their, REI North Face puffer jackets and skinny jeans, and I'm wearing like a plaid, what would you call it? Just like a plaid, not overcoat, but it's just like a plaid winter jacket and, winterproof work pants meant for, like, doing construction. I don't blend in at all. But when I'm at work, nobody cares. We're here to get the job done. We don't really care about current events. We're all here to make things happen. So, yeah, Pav, I might be moving these streams an hour forward just because of when I get off work. We'll see. I think I'm going to have this slotted for 7 next week, just to see if it works, see how the week goes. But yeah, where the fuck? See, I go off on tangents and I lose track of where I was. It's perfect. You can tell this is totally scripted. Ugh. That or I'm just a really good actor. Which I'm not. Oh, man. Yeah, Pav, you've got a lot more time to kind of hang around and catch up on these things than I do. I can give you like a 5-minute rundown, and it's probably 50% of that 5-minute rundown is either wrong or just full of holes. So. I don't know what else to say now. I'm kind of running out of steam just for tonight. Like, am I outraged about it? I probably should be. Maybe I'm just too damn tired to be, Alex Jones levels of screaming into the microphone. But I do think it's a terrible thing. I do think that this is not a good look for Hollywood. What do I think of Carano's movie being behind the Daily Wire paywall? This is not gonna come out right. It's the price she pays for keeping her. No. That's not how I want to put it. I mean, on principle, I don't like paywalls. Especially when it comes to things like films. I think it would make sense if, let's say, Run, Hide, Fight, for instance, was a timed exclusive. Like, let's say for the first, I don't know, month, you could subscribe to get early access or see the movie first at Daily Wire. But yeah, putting it behind a paywall, like, that's the thing with a movie, is you want the movie to reach as many people as it possibly can. And it's not like these films are made for a strictly conservative audience. It's, Run, Hide, Fight has a kind of a center-right message to it, but there's no altar call. It's not like God's Not Dead, where you watch it and it's just like this. There's so much preaching going on here, or what's his face? The guy. I can't think of it. He's a Christian filmmaker. He does these really terrible Christian films. Like he did a knockoff of John Wick, where he's like a preacher by day and assassin by night, and it's just like, what? He's got blonde hair. I can't think of his name, but it's just such a silly premise. I think, given that the Daily Wire, you can get it on like a smart TV and Roku, the Daily Wire subscription service is kind of close, but per the same token, you're paying $99 a year, which is a little pricey. I mean, most subscription services, last I checked, most subscription services are less than that, but maybe that's changed. That probably has changed now that I think about it. But yeah, like if Daily Wire had if the Disney Plus Daily Wire-ish app was a separate charge, you didn't need the subscription, like the full $99 a year to get access to their movies. You could just, fire up the app and hey, there you go. You're paying maybe, I don't know, $3 a month or something. That'd be a good way to go about it. That would make the films, I know I hate the word accessible, but that's what it would do. It would make it more accessible to the general public, not to just Daily Wire subscribers. That's where I think you and I agree that's where the mistake's being made, because Daily Wire is Daily Wire is an outlet a conservative outlet. So even if these films aren't being made strictly for conservative audiences, the fact that it is on that outlet gives the impression that they are. At first glance, if that makes sense. So we could talk marketing issues on where I think Daily Wire is going wrong. But like I said earlier, I think it's a good thing that they're picking her up because she's a great actress. She deserves the work. She doesn't deserve for Hollywood to just kick her in the teeth because of an Instagram post. What intersection of action movie watchers and daily news watchers is going to be? Or Daily Wire watchers? Yeah. That's a really tough thing to gauge. I mean, it is one thing that Run, Hide, Fight has its own Rotten Tomatoes page. So you can see the reviews for it, and it's the classic case of, critics hate it, but audiences love it, therefore it's good, versus, as compared to the other way around. But when someone sees that on Rotten Tomatoes, they're going to think, oh, Run, Hide, Fight. Looks like an interesting movie. Looks really intense. Let's go check it out. Let's go to, dailywire.com. Oh, I have to pay $99 a year to get it. Nope. Not going to do that. Now, I honestly haven't looked at the Daily Wire site. I don't know if they have different pricing tiers. But, yeah. A note about her, she did this to herself. How? Was it the whole pronoun, like her fake pronouns in the bio thing that soured all the far lefty types? Going, no, you're making fun of pronouns. It's like, well, yeah, I think someone trying to dictate what their pronouns are is something that deserves to be made fun of, because you're trying to dictate what someone is doing outside of your own presence by the whole fucking pronoun thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's all about control. You could say that was the first strike, quote unquote, but I don't think she did it to herself. Expressing her opinion? Like, what? Where is the harm in that? Like, the actual harm, not the words are violence kind of harm, because that's patently absurd. If I scream baseball bat, you better have a broken leg. Then words are violence. It's a joke. Fucking. I guess if I strike someone with a baseball bat, is that considered assault or hate speech? Have to think about that. She didn't really say anything shocking or outrageous. It was just kind of like, hey guys, don't do this. Here's why. It's all been blown out of proportion. It always gets blown out of proportion on Twitter. If you're talking about if you're talking about Toronto tweeting about how we need more secure elections, I think there was a tweet where she mentioned we need voter ID to keep our electoral process secure, something to that effect. That's a pretty mainstream conservative opinion. Like, at face value, what I see your question there, Ethel. I'll get to it in a second. Let me finish my point. Like, at face value, what is wrong with having your ID at a voting booth? Like, what's the harm of that? Yes, you're a legal citizen. Go ahead and vote. Can't prove who you are? Sorry, go get your driver's license, and then you can vote. Or get your passport to prove you're a U.S. citizen, then you can vote. What's the harm there? Oh, it's racist. How? I think I have met one person, one grown working adult in my entire life who does not have a driver's license or a passport or some sort of government ID, even a student ID. Not that a polling place would accept that, but my point is, IDs are not hard to get. They're not very expensive either. I mean, what, a driving test is... Well, to get your license renewed is what? $15? I think in this state? Maybe less? That's upsettle. It's like, what's the point? Like, what point is there to be made other than, well, we just don't like it because it's voter suppression? Not really. Voter suppression would be like, you must be this tall to enter the polling place. So, oh, I see, Pav. License renewal is for your driver's license. It's $250. What? How often do you have to get it renewed? That's insane. In Washington, it's pretty inexpensive. It might be closer to like $50, but it's not much. You have to spend like a decade in line at the DMV yearly. Really? I gotta renew mine every. Let's see here. I don't have to renew mine until 2024. That's crazy. And this was issued to me in 2018. Oh, no. Okay. Just property tax. Oh, okay, so that's a New Hampshire thing. Strictly a New Hampshire thing. Yeah. Washington's got a lot of taxes. Like in most cities, the sales tax rate is like 10%. Yeah, Pop, I see what you're saying. Like, there's been a back and forth with Carano saying things that people don't like. But I still wouldn't say she did it to herself. It was just been... It's hit its boiling point. Let's put it that way. It's hit its boiling point. Fired in December. Last it was calmed down. And seems she went kind of... Given a warning, my response is... Oh, step too far. Okay. Yeah, but that's... Did they tell her she couldn't make tweets of... Or not tweets, posts of a specific nature? Like, what, no right-leaning posts? I'm like, okay. First of all, how do you even judge what is a right-leaning post? I mean, obviously in the content, but it's easy for someone to... Like, you could have a middle-of-the-road opinion, and someone could be like, that's far right, you're banned, bye. So it's like, what the hell? Yeah, I think Washington has no income tax, but we have a lot of sales tax, and at least in Seattle, the property taxes are ridiculous. I completely forgot. Okay, let's go back into this. I was going to answer this question, and I forgot. Now, what do you think the future of conservative entertainment will be? What moves do they need to make, and what moves do you think they'll actually make? Moves do you think they need to make, and what moves do you think they'll actually make? I think that the Daily Wire starting with books and film, it's a good first step. I think they need to move into visual novels. I think they need to move into graphic novels. I think well, it'd be a stretch, but I think they need to move into video games. I don't know how. Like, they'd have to back an indie studio. And I don't know how you could probably convince Andrew Klavan to give you some backing. Because Andrew Klavan does play a lot of games. I don't think Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles do, but Andrew Clavin does occasionally do game reviews. He did he did a glowing review of Ghost of Tsushima on his channel. I have not seen The Mandalorian because I do not have Disney Plus, nor do I have any intention of getting it. I've only seen clips. It looks cool. It looks like a space western. Looks like my kind of show. But at the same time, it's like I really can't afford to sign up for streaming services. I really don't want to. I just want to, stick to my Vigi games and leave it at that. Because really, that's what I like. Often with movies and TV shows, I just start to tune out because I'm not actively engaged. I'm kind of terrible like that. Unless I'm out at a movie theater, then I have to be engaged, and usually then it's something I really want to see. Like I am looking forward to John Wick Chapter 4. Like that cannot come out soon enough. Do I think Ghost of Tsushima is right wing? It seems like a lot of right-leaning folks like it. I wouldn't say it's right-wing. I would say it respects tradition. Like Ghost of Tsushima, God, that's such a hard word to say. Tsushima. I keep wanting to say sushi. Well, it is basically Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima. Blah. Get to sit here and listen to me trip over my words. I don't know. Maybe I'm very slow to try and read. Read politics into games or try to read them out of games. I don't want to imply anything because I don't think Dark Souls is inherently right-leaning, but I think the challenge there appeals more to more individualistically natured people. Let's put it that way, because Dark Souls, for instance, is all about perseverance and building yourself up to take down gods, effectively become a god in some sense. But then, what do you see from lefty games, like games where, walking simulators like Firewatch, where it's like, oh, there's no violence, or you get, shit like Depression Quest, which, these are games that I think Tim Pool kind of got it wrong when he was talking about this today. He said lefties are trying to take violence, like make games that don't have violence or don't have they're walking simulators. I don't think it's the violence that they're taking out so much as the conflict, because violence either causes conflict or is a reaction to conflict. Violence and conflict are not the same thing. One begets the other. It's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. So you have people trying to take you have some really far lefty hippy dippy game developers trying to take the conflict out of games, and they're not fun. Like, there's no sense of accomplishment. There's no sense of reward. You're just walking around and doing things. It's like, I don't want to do this. Like, maybe in some sense it might be fun to say, I don't know, in Cyberpunk, spend a day just walking around Night City and exploring the place. That can be fun. But if there's nothing for the player to do, they are not going to want to interface with your game. If you're going to just walk through a field and pick flowers, for the sole purpose of picking flowers, your average Joe's going to look at this and be like, I can just pick flowers in my yard. I'm going to go do that instead. For the same purpose of no purpose. Whereas really difficult games like Dark Souls, like Ghost of Tsushima, there's challenge, there's something to overcome, and there's conflict, and the conflict is what drives you forward. One of the hardest things I had to do in one of my writing classes while I was in college was we had to write a short story with no sex, no drugs, no violence. And I just had a really, really hard time with that because trying to come up with a conflict like that it's not necessarily out of my wheelhouse, but it was something I'd never thought of before. Yeah, what Elko said there. They're so concerned about the narrative, like fucking what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Borderlands 3. I have gotten into this discussion with many people many times. What made Borderlands 2 so much fun is Handsome Jack. But Handsome Jack was a villain who actively, or at least felt like he was actively impeding your progress, getting in your way, and trying to put a stop to you, so he could be the hero. The Calypso twins in Borderlands 3 are the worst villains I can possibly think of. Like, the most poorly written villains I can possibly think of. And not because they're fucking Twitch streamers. You know, glorified space Twitch streamers. That's not it. They're annoying because of that, but that's not the point. What I hate about the Calypso twins is at every step when they show up, they don't try to stop you, they just take away your hard work. Like, imagine you get a paycheck, or you're waiting for your paycheck. You're sitting by the mailbox waiting for your paycheck, and it finally arrives. You pop it up and you're like, yes, there's my $300 for the week. And some dude with a big sign on his head that says the IRS just takes it out of your hand and walks away. That's the Calypso twins. I finally beat this boss. They show up and just take the thing you were supposed to get, and you get no say in the matter. It's like, what? This isn't fun. At that point, you're chasing something by force. You aren't chasing something organic. You're not chasing something out of personal drive. Like the bit where, spoilers, if you haven't played Borderlands 2, most people and their dog have. Like Jack throwing the bunker at you before you get to Angel's Core, or when he shoots Roland. That's where things get real, and you're like, oh shit, this is heavy. You killed Roland, that's it. You're done. But with the Calypso twins, it's like they show up, they do things, and it's like, wait, they can do that? What? How? Why? Who? Help. Who did this? Please explain. Like, Borderlands 3 could have been a really good game, but they made every single wrong plot decision. Like, if I were to do a Let's Play of Borderlands 3, a solo Let's Play of Borderlands 3, I could tell you how each boss fight should have gone. Or something they could have done to at least make the way the Calypso twins interact with the player at least make sense. Maybe still have that sense of, oh, come on, but be justified? I don't know. I'm looking at the chat here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just show up and take things from you. It's like, nope, bye. What would be the best conservative libertarian play to hit the mainstream in the film industry? I have a film degree from the U of Kansas and want to use it. I have an English degree from Western Washington University, and I've been trying to use it, but I haven't had a lot of free time as of late. I probably could have made more use of it last week, but now with my new position, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be real difficult, and Eth is gonna rake me over the coals for saying this. Fucking it's best conservative or libertarian play. I don't know. I honestly, ooh, something by Shakespeare. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Oh, play no play. Not as a stage production. Like, what would be the best angle? Fuck, I read that wrong. I get it. I see. Um, Honestly, the best angle for conservatives and libertarians to hit mainstream in the industry is just yeah. I get that now. I was like, oh, what? I'm tired. I've been up since 5, so please bear with me, and I'm gonna be up until 5. Well, not until up at 5 every day. I'm sure next week I'll have better head on my shoulders once I get my sleep schedule down. Um, yeah, Elko summed it up. Best way to hit Hollywood is to support outside creators or create your own media. If an actor or actress gets canceled, conservative creators should pick them up at the drop of a hat. Again, I haven't seen Run, Hide, Fight, but I do like that it's got Thomas Jane in it. I think he's a really good actor. For those of you who don't know, Thomas Jane played the Punisher in 2004, and he was a really, really good Frank Castle. Really good Punisher. My drink of choice tonight is a Fremont Interurban IPA. I was just coming back from work. Traffic sucked coming through town. I was like, I'll swing in, get a 12-pack, maybe have a couple tonight, and kick back, relax. Still really have no idea what the hell I'm doing at work, but it'll all be clear as things iron themselves out. That's the beauty of a field operation. So, yippee. So, yeah, up until Run, Hide, Fight, conservative media has always been a little preachy. Like, you've got God's Not Dead, you've got I think Crowder was in some Christian, like every Christian movie. But that's the thing, is like they're meant to be overtly Christian. That's the problem, is they're meant to appeal to more, for lack of a term, more religiously minded individuals, people who go to church every Sunday, people who, you know, incorporate the Bible into their life a little bit more than the average Joe. Run, Hide, Fight it doesn't take the religious angle. It takes the 2A angle, which is different. It's more, oh, how do I put this? It's more it's a little edgier, that's for sure. It's more, it can be more, fuck, what is the word? I cannot think of the word. It can be more of a conversation starter, because the kind of the backdrop of the film is not guns are good or guns are bad, but if you know how to use a gun, you can defend yourself. That's really it, because at some point the main character, Zoe, starts, you know, using the gun she takes off the school shooters to fight back, which is a heroic thing. Death Wish I saw clips of. Death Wish looked good. I don't know, would John Wick be right? Or, well, no, I guess Death Wish or would be right-leaning because Bruce Willis's character goes to a gun shop to buy a gun, but he doesn't want to wait the 10 days, so he just steals one, I think. Fucking. Hey, what's up? I got a nice little audience going here. Leftists are better at propaganda. Leftists have really nailed down the hero's journey. They have. They have it down to a T. Whereas, okay, vigilantism is right wing. I guess John Wick is more of like a fantasy because you've got two separate worlds. You've got the assassin world and the average world, and they really don't interact because, like, you've got the gold coins to pay off the cops and cleaners and all that. But yeah, the leftists have figured out how to take the hero's journey and wrap their propaganda around it like a coil and make it blend in. Up until this point, conservative filmmakers, they're having a hard time getting those two to mix. They're having a hard time getting the hero's journey to mix with the values they want to espouse. Although, by the same... I mean, it's... I guess... How do I want to put this? Usually you have... characters who, in like the Marvel movies, you have characters who sacrifice themselves for the good of, the good of humanity as a whole, which can be a noble cause. There's plenty of tall tales of sacrifice in history, which, we can see that as a good thing. I don't know how a really individualistic or even Elko's gonna hate me for saying this. I don't know how an objectivist character would go over as a protagonist in film. It works in books. It doesn't work in film necessarily. Yeah, see, Coffee, I'm right there with you. Like, you have the Christian films that say, they at the end they give you a sermon or something, and it's like, I don't want a sermon. Unless it's supposed to be something metaphorical. But yeah, if the director's conservative and he's just making a really good action flick, then yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. But I don't want to pay $30 to hear a sermon from church. So, not that I even go to church. I don't. Never really liked it, the whole ties and suits thing. I hate ties. I'm much more comfy in a set of like, what do you call them? Set of like the khaki work pants and a plaid shirt. I don't know. Okay. I'm starting to run out of steam here. I'm out of it. I think I'm going to open it up to questions until about 55 minutes, and we'll call it there for tonight. So, hit me with your best shot. Fire away. Or talk amongst yourselves. That's cool, too. I'm open to whatever. Yeah, like, to Elko's point, look at a lot of the movies from the 1950s. Very pro-America, but you still had plenty of movies that were great. Fighting Sullivans. What's the one? Casablanca. Treasures of the Sierra Madre. I'm just going to list off a whole bunch of Humphrey Bogart movies. How did I meet Eth? Skype. Through Skype. Long time. I think I was still at Digipen when we met, so... Yeah, he and I have been pals for a bit. No, don't talk about it. I'm not going any further than that. But we'll take it up with Settle. He asked. I think we were in like one of the same gaming groups or something. I don't remember. I don't even have Skype installed. Yeah, Coffee, I agree with you there. I don't know if there's any legal standing based on AOC's tweet, because what she essentially said was, I was terrified for my life because something almost could have happened. That is so removed from what could be construed as incitement that there'd be no legal standing for defamation or a threat. But but by the same token, it does also place the blame on Cruz. It's really weaselly. She said he almost tried to have her killed, which I'm not trying to take AOC's side. What I'm saying is you put that up in court, you're going to have a tough time. And Cruz is a constitutional scholar. I think he's a lawyer. He would know this going in, that he has a tough case to make. She implied he was a murderer. I almost said Zodiac killer. Fucking... But, okay, yep, alright, it's after 55. I'm gonna get comfy, I'm gonna wind down. I'm gonna shoot to do the same kind of stream next Friday. I'm gonna see if I can set some articles aside to have a bit more of a format. Something to pull up like I did last week with Time Magazine, even though no one wanted to sit there and listen to me read it. Alco, I think at that point, they're both considered not just high profile, but they're also considered public individuals, so there is a different standard for public versus private. But I'm no legal expert. I just read things and listen to things. I'm a layman. All right, yeah, I'll try and get some articles for next weekend. We'll see what the news cycle has. Thanks to everyone who stopped by. I'll catch you next week at, I'm going to shoot for 7 p.m. Pacific. So, all right, take it easy.